I'm Matt Bronger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on, Corey?
I'm Matt Bronger. This might help. The podcast.
Welcome to This Might Help, the only advice podcast hosted by Matt Bronger. This week we have an old friend of mine who I don't see enough, and I actually didn't see enough before the quarantine days. So I often say that one cool thing about this quarantine, and there's so fucking many things that are so great about 2020. No, is that you do podcasts with people you haven't talked to in a while, and you actually get closer to them. I do a weekly thing, happy hour, with one of my oldest friends, Kyle Kinane, who I actually started doing comedy with. Many of you listeners probably know the show called Hey Girl with Matt and Kyle. And it's the most we've talked in like 7 years with any regularity, because we're always on the road and shit. So anyway, this guy is a big barrel of fun, and also one of the smartest comics out there, which I don't think he gets a lot of credit for. Jon Gabrus, how are you, man?
I'm wonderful. Wow. That was I appreciated that intro. Haven't gotten a lot of compliments in the quarantine. Not that I'm getting a lot of disses. I just haven't gotten a lot of interaction, period.
Yeah.
I'm at peak. Like, my wife is tired of me, at this current moment here and in this time.
Yes.
She's had enough of me. She doesn't find me that funny. So like, I'm seeking validation from friends and strangers. So this is wonderful to hear.
Wonderful. You guys were just in Palm Springs last I talked to you, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Some of our friends have a house out in La Quinta, and we all I have no family out here, and neither is my wife. So we've bubbled up with our other familyless, childless 40-year-old couples in our lives,
Nice.
so that the six of us can spend time together and get to hang out. And thank fucking God, like. These are my friends I see all the time, and just spending one weekend with them and just not in my own house was such a fucking victory.
Yeah, it's so necessary.
Just upgraded to a different prison, more or less. But at the same time, I was just so happy to just leave this out. And maybe people know this, maybe people don't, but like in California, we're not even allowed outside right now. So it's like,
Yep.
We're not allowed to go to businesses. We're not allowed to go to each other's houses. Formally we could just like meet up for a walk or smoke a joint standing 6 feet away from a bud, or go to a park and eat pizza across from an old friend or whatever. Now we can't even do that. We're down to nothing. We're down to podcasts. All we have is podcasts now.
That's it. And it's like, the worst thing about that last one is that's God's law.
Yeah.
A cop is not going to be like, hey, there's a mandate, go inside. He's just going to be like, that's your fucking lungs, man. Like,
yeah, a doctor will just it'll be a doctor's mandate 30 years from now. It's like, wait, you were outside in 2020, right before the water wars?
Jesus
you got to be careful. Yeah.
Did you say West Coast? Oh,
Christ, you're lucky to be alive still, sir. We're going to give you the old Lenny from Of Mice and Men treatment outside. Let's go out behind.
Look off toward the sunset. I'm actually removing myself as your doctor. Yeah. That always, side note, that always to me is one of the funniest fucking things, because it's so, you're probably like me, where you're like, wow, that's horrible, hilarious. Like, just to get the humor out of something. Like, if something in a movie happens that's so bad, but you're not like, ha ha, good, I want to see someone suffer. You're like, oh my God, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got like, I have like that horror laugh, like in a horror movie. Like,
oh, same.
People talk about how horror and comedy are so close together in your body's
Absolutely.
Reaction to it. And it's so true. When you're watching a horror movie and some crazy ass shit happens, my most often reaction is, which is sort of how I laugh when I also see stand-up.
That's exactly right. And like the correlation I was drawing is just, it's the funniest shit when someone's like, as your attorney, I'm removing myself as your attorney. Like, I think that happened to like Epstein a few times, like something where it's just like, you're so guilty. You're so guilty. Even someone that's just like, this is not worth the money.
I make money protecting creeps, and I can't jive with protecting you. You're too creepy.
I can't. And I can't handle the body blows I'm going to get in court from the DA.
Right. That shit makes me so happy when a guy who thinks he's indestructible starts seeing the fucking walls close. I mean, This is weird. We're talking about a dude who has either killed himself or murdered.
Right.
Either way.
Right.
But I just love seeing a dude who's like, I've been getting away with shit forever, and then all of a sudden turning to his left, being like, "Weird. What are you guys? Oh, I'm alone."
Yeah. Anyone who's like, wait, but it's me though. Like I don't know, no consequences for Jeff. You know?
Well, it's like the low stakes. It's not like a full on action movie where the hero gets to kill the bad guy, but like an 80s sort of rom-com where like the bad guy, like Ferris Bueller, has like, Jeffrey Jones is alone with the Rottweiler, you know, and it's like that.
Yeah.
That minor comeuppance, like Jeffrey Epstein turning around his lawyer, going like, "You're on your own, motherfucker. I'm out of here."
Yeah. Michael Clayton.
Yes.
Yeah, Clooney and Clayton, where he's like, "You're so fucked. You're fucked." and what's her name? That actress who's so great, who plays that woman?
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton. She's so good. I feel bad for her.
Right.
She had a nice man murdered, and that moment where she kind of like stutters and she's like, "You don't want the money?" Like, I feel awful for her.
That ending, part. Michael Clayton is such like a fucking dad movie, and I mean, you're newly a dad. Do you have a new appreciation for movies now?
Yes, of course. But you're basically a dad. I mean,
I've had dad energy but with the exception of with the exception of low testosterone, I've had dad energy my entire life, more or less. I don't want to have kids, but let's say I have uncle energy. I have uncle strength.
We're both very avuncular.
Yes.
We're both very uncle-like.
Is that what avuncular means?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I had to look it up because this guy wrote this book called Mock Stars about comedians. And he had this minor line about me because he went to see someone more famous. And then on the way home, like stopped into the UCB and watched like a comedy death ray or something. And he was like, "I really enjoyed avuncular comedian Matt Bronger." And I had to Google what that meant. And I was like, oh, that means uncle-like.
Isn't that fun when someone labels you as something and you're like, "Oh, that actually works. And I appreciate it. And I might lean into it more now." Like, yeah.
It's like, as they say, I feel seen. You know?
I rarely learn anything anymore, and like especially vocab words. Learning avuncular today is so perfect. Thank you, Brong. At minimum, my day has been made. This is how low the bar is for a successful day now. It's like I could get a word a day calendar and just be at the exact same spot I am now.
Oh, my wife, I kind of blew her mind when I was my parents, after my kid was born, drove an RV down from Portland. And they quarantined for 2 weeks, then rented an RV and drove it down, and then came in the house, and they lived with us for 5 days, and then went back. And she's filled out a little bit more, but Rose has like pretty big hands and feet, and will just grab shit like a monkey.
This is your wife you're talking about?
No, my kid. Yeah, right. Yeah, she's filled out. My
wife's finally filled out, and I'm digging it.
She's almost 40. But like I describe my mother, I love using $5 words because my mom's an English professor. So I'll be words that nobody else knows. So I'll be like, yeah, she's an awful prehensile child. And my mom cracks up. Prehensile just means you have hands. It just means thumbs and you can grip things. Like we're prehensile, so are monkeys. And my wife was like, "What does that mean?" Like.
Oh, that's yeah. I learned a word based on someone telling me. They called me Gabrius, which is almost my last name, but it also weirdly means hairless, which is also true of me. I mean, neck up, very hairy; neck down, seal-like, very weird. I truly have like a giant baby's body. Like I have a belly, I have broad shoulders, I'm hairless, I'm smooth. I look like a giant tan baby with like a fucking trucker or like a Teamster's head placed on top of it at the end.
You must have had money thrown at you at Palm Springs.
I am sort of like a weird gay unicorn in that I am a bear with a seal's body or an otter's body, some sort of.
Because I know obviously a bear is a type, an otter is a type. Is a seal a type?
I'm not positive, and we're just two straight guys going, "I'm pretty sure I'm a seal." People are like, "Yeah, they might be seals." It's like, wait, what? Did you guys come up with that? I remember I answered like 3 questions about this one time in front of my wife, and she was like, "Hey, why do you know so much about gay culture? I was like, check my DMs, baby.
You know,
My
And
received DMs.
it's
not my sent.
also fascinating. Anytime I learn, I love culture, learning about different cultures.
Subculture, yeah, subculture.
Cultures especially.
My favorite shit in the world, Bronger, and I feel like we're on the same page here, is just jargon. I love the jargon of
Yes.
different positions, different careers and
Yes.
jobs and like lifestyle. Where I love hearing all that shit in the gay community, but even like in the punk community, learning like when you hear vaporwave, cyberwave, like I just love hearing specifics that are
Totally.
to a subculture. To me, that could mean. That's all it just makes you feel like you're being let inside somewhere, and that's
Yes.
all I've ever wanted my entire life.
And I love to just sit there and listen when someone knows all that shit. And they're like, well, okay, so you have this and you have this. People don't do this, they do this,
I love all, and then catch me at a party 48 hours later saying that exact thing as if it's my own information. Oh no, you don't want to blow an otter. An otter you're gonna want to eat an otter's ass, and everyone's like, why the fuck are you talking about this? It's my kid's christening.
This is an Arby's. When we went to went to Provincetown, Mass for my birthday.
Hell,
2 years
okay.
ago.
That's a very specific location for a birthday.
Well, we were already out in Kara's from Boston, so we were already out there, and I've always wanted to go because it's like I love places on the edge of the world, and I love the history of that place. How it's got the oldest gay bar, and it's like John Waters' stomping ground, and it's like an artsy fartsy community, but like anywhere where you have a large gay contingent is fun. That's just a fact.
It's going to be at least fun. At minimum, it's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yes. And so we stayed in this place called the Brass Key that does not allow children. We did not have a kid at the time, and a huge pool in the middle of it with all the little suites around it. And you just, and every day at like 5 o'clock, they just serve wine and cheese. You just get it. Just go out, get your wine, eat your cheese. And everyone goes to tea. And I did not know what tea was. Tea is basically it's like from 4 to 6 or 7, they go down by the dock, and it's just a packed dance party, and everyone gets fucked up, and then they all go to dinner. So you go out there and you just dance. Like I went on my birthday was 80s night. So
hell yeah.
About it. And I'm having my drinks, and then you go to your dinner like half perved, and everyone in the restaurant's kind of fucked up, and it's just like, this is great. And it's, pardon me for stereotyping, but like drunk gays are not like us. You put like everyone goes to fucking the docks and gets drunk all day, and they go to dinner. That restaurant's going to be a fucking nightmare.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's going to be fights. Yeah. There's going to be dudes that are just harassing women.
Yeah.
Talking too loud about the wrong shit.
Yeah, there's going to be like a table full of bachelorette girls going fucking ham, screaming like it's the restaurant is theirs for the night. But no, with gay dudes, the worst possible situation is your ears hurt the next day from volume. It's just music and shouting is the most danger you're ever going to be in is tinnitus or whatever.
One guy was way too catty at a time. Oh no. Yeah.
I officiated a wedding a year or two ago. My two of the aforementioned best friends, a gay couple, and they had a table at their wedding, which was the rowdiest, craziest. The outfits of this table were and I'm like, oh, what table is that? They go, that's our P-Town table. And I go, what does that mean? He goes, we go to P-Town with the same group of people every year, and it's that table. And it's like, we're talking a dude in a kimono, a dude in a dress, like just and all different shapes and sizes, and just partying fucking hard. And I was like, P-Town sounds pretty cool.
It's fun, man.
Let's do stand up at fucking P-Town Bear Week.
Yes, let's do it, man. Oh, I would love, anytime I go someplace like that, I'm just like, how can I get here free by doing a one-nighter?
Oh, wow. Dude, my entire life is I can't afford shit, but you just reminded me something. This is a specific comedy adage I heard one time. I got to perform at Gentlemen of the Road Festival in Kansas, which was like Mumford and Sons and I forget the name of the other band. It was this big music festival.
Sure.
They wanted like comedy afterwards at night in town for people. So they brought out some UCB performers to do some late night improv. Mostly it was just getting fucked up on the side of the stage watching music all day long.
Sure.
And my friend Neil Casey turns to me. We're on the side of the stage watching the Alabama Shakes, watching the lead singer's name escapes me, fucking annihilate and crush. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I'm wasted. I turn to Neil Casey and he goes, "This is what we get to do in life because we're slightly funnier than other people."
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the realest thing. He's like, in life, you just manage to be slightly funnier than an average person, which now allows you to stand on stage and watch this concert. And talking about what you're talking about, that's the same thing with me. It's like, I got to go to Bonnaroo as a comedian. I'll never go to a music festival. I'll never pay for a music festival or a festival ever again.
No.
I might not ever get, there might not be music festivals ever again, to be fair. And
Right. True. But we bullshitted our way into a lot of them, you and I, you know.
Hell fucking yeah.
As a fucking clown. I've done the comedy stage at several festivals. It's funny, you just reminded me, my friend Mike Burns, I brought him along to a rap party when I was in a show called Up All Night. And the rap party was on the roof of the Andaz, you know, used to be the Hyatt House, the Riot House on the Sunset Strip. And it's just decked out, super, you know, it's the stars of the show, Christina Applegate, Will Arnett, Maya Rudolph, and everybody. And like Lorne Michaels is there and shit. And like Burns and I are just off on our own thing, eating, drinking everything. We know a couple people. You know, I'm the wacky neighbor on the show. Hi, everybody. That's about it. But it's just for partying. Yeah. It's not a red carpet. And Burns is getting lit. And he looks at me and goes, he looks at all these suits, these executives, and he goes, "Here's the key, man. That's why we're here. Trick people like that into giving people like us money."
Yeah, I mean, that's been my entire business plan since 2004.
That's it. That's the game. That's the game.
And I'm at that level of success where I have, like, if to use a poker analogy, I have no chips left. But the longer I stay at this table, the better. I'm not fucking leaving the winner of this tournament. But the fact that if I'm just still at the table when I'm 40, 50, I'm 40 now. when I'm at the table, still at the table, if I'm 50, 60, dream come true. That's all I could ask for. And I that in the last couple of years, I've gotten to that level of resolution with myself. This is what I love about podcasts. We haven't talked, and I'm like, you know, in therapy, I'm like already just telling you that I've like come around to being happy with what I'm doing in life and like looking back on my life with happiness rather than looking forward with my life and wanting more. And if I don't achieve, I still want more, but if I don't achieve it, I'm not as fucking annihilated anymore.
And that's the key, man. I mean, the amount of people that just burn themselves to the ground by just wanting like, if only I had that thing. Yeah. And it's like, that's not a hole that you should not be looking to fill that fucking hole with that. It doesn't fill it, you know?
It took someone to tell me, like, well, would you be happy if you were like on season 6 of Superstore? Like you've been there for like the last 6 years. Would you be happy? I was like, I'd have a lot of money and that would make me happy. He's like, yeah. But like, would you be like, I'm so pumped that I'm doing this? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, what would you? And I was like, I don't know. And then my buddy was like, then I don't think you're allowed to complain about not having it if you don't know what you even want. And I'm like,
dude, that's
it. Yeah. Holy.
That's it. That's it. I think all the time about how, people are like, well, if you could have anyone's career, who would it be? And I always say mine, because like I want things to go better than they have in a lot of ways, but like, you know, at the same time, I've drawn this analogy before, but I remember a friend she and her boyfriend were like that. They're about to break up. They're this close, and a drunk friend of theirs at this party put his arm around both of them and was like, "Man, I just want a relationship like yours. You guys are perfect." Dude had no idea they were about to break up. They did not love each other anymore. So for me to just go, oh, I want fucking, you know, Will Ferrell's career. He might be miserable. Right. I don't really want his career. You know?
More than likely, if we got like if the inside of our own heads is anything like the inside of other comedy people's heads, they're probably like, Will Ferrell's like, I just wish I was fucking Ed Norton, and Ed Norton wishes he was Will Ferrell, and so forth and so on, and all that shit.
It is the grass is truly always greener, and you if you mentioned the Superstore thing, if you were on there for 6 years, you'd be like, I just want to get the fuck off this show, but I'm afraid, so I'm trapped.
It's golden handcuffs. It's
and then, yeah.
And also, it's like you can't be happy by your job. Like, it's not like there's a job that if once I got it, I'm like, well, now I'm happy. Now that I have this movie role, I'm happy. Like, it doesn't.
And just someone who can kind of do anything, like, let's say, like, I don't know, throw it out there. Like if Chris Evans did stand up, let's say, and he might be like, I just sometimes feel like I'm getting pulled in every direction. Like you will find unhappiness in any of this shit.
Right.
Any of that shit.
And I want, for the listeners, I just want to say, me talking about, I sound like I'm well adjusted with my career. You should know that I am in year 16 of doing comedy professionally. So it is only been 15 years of me absolutely stressing myself. It did take almost 2 full decades of working for me to go like, okay, well, honestly, that sentence saying that out loud reminds me that I have been doing comedy for so long. And if you put yourself in the head of a listener of this podcast who's like, listen to this guy bitching, he's been doing comedy for a decade. And it's like, oh, right. That's been my goal. Yeah. And I'm doing it. So I can't, and it's crazy. Like you just instantly level up and in your head. And then instantly the second you get a little closer to something, the second you do a couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then you see like, well, these people are doing this every week for how much? Like, and then your brain just goes, and you're like, well, then who the fuck am I? But then there's a guy next to you who's in Portland. There's a guy in Portland doing open mics who's like, dude, look at fucking Bronger, man. He's on fucking a network show, and you're like at home being like, we're having a kid. How the fuck do I pay for this? And they're like, I want to be Bronger soon. And you're like, bro, my doctor says my blood pressure is untenable.
He's resigned as my doctor.
He took his stethoscope off and walked out like a player on Rudy's team. He refused to doctor me.
Like a senator caught in the headlights of like a local newscast that is just caught him walking out of like a brothel. Just pretended like he wasn't there. He dropped his stethoscope and walked out.
Caught him catching head in an alley as he just like nodded to the camera like, I understand, I resigned, zipped up and walked off we never saw him again. Goodbye, Lindsey Graham.
I'm not on camera. Yeah, man, it's about having enough stuff in your life to kind of cushion the inevitable blows.
Well, I think you're tiptoeing around, well, not tiptoeing around stuff, but I think we're leading towards something here. The pandemic and the lack of work, which is something what I completely attach my self-worth to for like the last 15 years or whatever, eliminating that has really forced me to be super depressed. I'm not going up at all. I'm not going on any auditions. I'm having no meetings. I'm having no progress in this career. But now I've been like introspective now for six-ish months. And I'm starting to like find these things about myself. I'm like, well, I am still doing comedy via podcasts. My wife is still working. My life is still normal. Like a lot of the shit. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing okay in a global pandemic. That means I'm successful. Like
fucking A, dude.
It just takes reevaluating what you consider success. Like I got a place I want a dishwasher in a yard. I'm almost 40 and I don't have a house. Like that's something I'm dealing with, but I did also get to go to Bonnaroo. Like, I chose this stupid path for my life where I didn't make money for 15 years. And now I have a little bit of money and it just feels like looking back fondly at what I've done has been a big part of the pandemic for me. And I guess what I'm teeing you up here for like, you now have in the last month, your life has changed enough that comedy seems like, oh, it's important, but now you have like other things to seek value and love from. So talk to me a little bit about what's going on in your brain.
The thing I was thinking about is like how probably as recent as like 5 or 6 years ago, I would just bang my head against a wall because I wasn't getting, even going in for certain stuff,
and insert what for the listeners, insert whatever there. It's not like we each have like, it's like, there's just it's just a monthly disappointment, weekly disappointment if you're doing well.
Yes. Exactly.
There's a phase where as you do better, you get more disappointments. Like that's the weirdest thing about this career. You're like, I'm getting bigger and bigger disappointments these days. And that's a positive.
No, I've said that many times. The key to life is to just keep improving your problems.
Right.
That's how I feel. It's just like you're just gonna hit this fucking wall and be like, this is a better wall than the one I used to bang my head against.
We say,
before.
me and my wife say champagne problems. It's like, just a reminder, this is a champagne problem. Yeah, like we just cannot pitch. Yeah.
Exactly. So like a couple weeks ago during the pandemic, I had a Zoom audition, and like I taped one while I was in Palm Springs with my wife for a couple days. A friend just gifted us the use of this house, before the kid was born, and they were like, well, we love Bronger for this part. We want him to do a Zoom session with some of the other actors. Want to figure out who to put. I did 4 chem reads with 4 different sets of 3 actors. Someone else got the part. Like, cool. And then they couldn't reach a deal with that guy. And then they were like, can we bring Bronger in for more reads? The part is his. I was like, great. I did, I want to say 6 or 7 more chem reads via Zoom. Didn't get it. And then, my manager, before he he let them bring me back, was like, if you're just doing this because this guy won't take the fucking deal and you're dangling my guy, I'm going to be fucking angry. And turns out they couldn't reach a deal with this guy because his lawyer was being such a prick. And so I don't know what happened, but like they called and were like apologizing profusely because the network basically was just, they gave it to that other guy. But it's like, I've never had that in my life. And by the way, this project, I don't know how good it'll be. I had fun doing it. It was a lot of improvisation, which can be great.
By the way,
so
I know exactly what show this is. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll talk off mic, but yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to leave details out to not incriminate people, but
yeah.
My point to bringing that up is the thing is, I have no anger over it, but I've never had that thing where it's like, part's yours, and then they still give it to somebody else. That would have, if that happened 5-6 years ago, I don't know if I would have crashed my car. I don't know if I would have just lost my mind. Anything my significant other said to me, I just fucking snap. No, none of it matters. Then fucking, what does it matter? Who gives a shit? Who gives, but after going through all this and also having this great kid and like valuing the things I value, it's like, not that I can't get hurt. I get hurt all the time. And I'm still disappointments will still suck. I'll still get furious and shit, but it's just like, there's a level of perspective I have.
Yeah.
That's just beyond.
Well, I think like what you're talking about there is like 5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen the scaffolding as much as you see it now. Like the second you're going back in for that round of X more Zoom reads, you're like, watch this blow up in my face. Like you just like, no, but you're like, what am I going to not do this and say, no, I don't want it? Like you have to be honest with yourself. You're like, I auditioned for it in the first place. I clearly want it, or I clearly still want it. So you'll sit down and do it, but you have that 5 years more of like seeing all the paths you didn't get that allowed you to get other paths. Like it was between me and Adam Richman for Man vs. Food, like 15 years ago, whatever that was. Wow. You know what I mean? Like it was down to the 2 of us. We did screen tests at Katz's Deli, all this shit. And I thought for 3 years after that, I always mentioned, and I thought it also gave me like some clout to like say like, oh, I was almost Man vs. Food. People were like, whoa, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah. And then all I could think about was like how my life would have changed. And like the money I would have had, the restaurant, I would have been traveling. I would have been okay. And then also Adam Richman like had his stomach break and had to like quit the job because like he had severe medical issues brought on by the career he had. Yeah. Now, also, if I get it, maybe the show sucks and it only airs 6 episodes and never happens again. And I walk away with like 40 G's in my pocket and nothing. And that was 10 plus years ago. But nowadays I'm like, I'm watching a movie or a TV show where I was almost that lead, and it doesn't even come up in my head.
I'll see a guy say a couple lines and be like, oh fuck, I went in for that. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll be like, oh shit, look who got it. There's no part of me that's just like, man, him. Fuck.
I'll still get close enough calls to stuff I want.
Sure.
That it will deter me from watching it. I'll release myself of anger. Yes. But I can't bring myself to watch the show yet. because
Yeah.
I also don't want to see how much better Luka Jones is at it than I am. Like,
Right. I know. I've lost so much shit to Luka.
he's
Yeah.
good. He's good.
good.
People really like him, and there's a
People like
reason
him.
why. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love the fact that I was on Up All Night at the same time as him. Where it's like, holy shit, both of us, cool.
Yes.
You
Well,
know?
that's like the dream is like for me and Gemberling to get booked on the same show for once in my life, you know, rather than just being like, looks like it's down to the two of us. Good friend of mine. Hope since you have children, you get it. Like,
High five. Yeah,
see you at the callbacks.
it's so true.
Yeah. I haven't been able to watch Shrill but good for Luca.
Well, Shrill is also like a sore one
Portland.
for me because it shoots in Portland, where I'm like, that's my fucking dream.
Did you read for the, I'm assuming you read for the Luca part.
No, I didn't.
But
I think I'm a little too old, honestly. I'm older than
fair.
Luka.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think also it's that's even that's funny to me because I went in for a Netflix show that I think long forgotten now, but it was set in a school in Portland, and it was like the role of like the principal or something, and my dad is a principal, and so I felt like I nailed the audition beyond through the wall. I walked out of there whistling. Like, not like it's mine, but come on, fuckers. I'm from there. My dad's, and I didn't get it. And I swear to God, I shed a tear. And I laughed right after, but I was just like, are you? Okay. That's the last, and that was years ago.
Well, that's what you're describing too, is this weird phenomena that like, it's nearly everything is a scratch off lotto ticket.
Of course.
But every once in a while you have this opportunity that actually is like correct for you, which is I'm already going out for things where I'm like, I'm not even a good actor. And it's like, this makes no sense. It has to be like this heavy set New Yorker with a beard. Like, it has to be like so obviously over the plate for me. And then every once in a while I get one of those over the plates and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm starting to feel, and then like, you'll do all the logic, like the logic you said of like, I'm probably a little too old for that, but you'll do the logic where it's like, oh, well, this is like this character for the sake of the premise of the character is a white man. It needs like everything about it like starts lining up where you're like, oh, he's got to be sort of a beach bum vibe. And you're like, okay, I got that. Oh, bearded. Yes. Oh, and it's like, you're checking off these boxes. You're like, holy, and then you let yourself be like, this is what I'm actually right for. And then when you don't get it, you're like, why did I do that to myself? Why did I say you build yourself up in your own head?
I always crack up when Dana Gould told me, because he went in with, I think, Sandler and Chris Rock, and not Chris Rock, Sandler and you know that crew,
Farley Spade, like that season of
I'm pretty
SNL.
sure, and he was like, I walked out there going, good luck, boys, because I'm one of them. Like, he was on the plane like, fuck, I gotta move to New York, crazy. And like, no.
That's the joke me and my friends always say is like, when I leave a shitty, I'm like, well, I just bought a boat. Like, if I like think I did it good, I'm like, well, I bought a boat called Broad City. Can't wait to hear back about this. I did, like,
Yeah.
Oh, Gamberlane got that one too. Okay, sick.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I remember I did a last thing I said, we'll go to the calls, but I wrote this script with my cousin who writes video games and writes books. And we had pretty much the exact same premise as that mystic legend or whatever that the Always Sunny. Exactly. We had it years before them set up at Showtime, and they passed. We didn't get it, but it was like they were like, this is one of the hardest passes we've ever done. Which I'm just like, fuck you,
Yeah.
But at the
Oh,
same
cool.
time,
Thanks. Yeah.
It's still,
like
but,
that. I hearken it all back to the most heteronormative shit of like a beautiful woman at the bar telling you like, man, and I really want to fuck you, but I have to go home. And you're like, wait, what? Why would you tell me?
I love my husband. Why'd you say anything?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so lonely. Yeah. But that actually isn't my point. The point I brought up is because we had an actor character in there that we just took. We made him like that guy that gets everything but doesn't really necessarily want it. Right. And like, I read that by his own admission, Robert Downey Jr., when he was a child actor, when he was like, or like a teen, he would walk out into the waiting area and be like, you guys can all leave, I got it. He would say that to them.
That makes sense.
That makes me laugh so fucking hard because that is him. Like, he's got that level of fucking confidence, blah, blah, blah. That's why he carries Tony Stark so well. But
that's why Tony Stark can be a 61-year-old man and have a child in the most recent movie, because it's fucking RDJ. He'll never fire blanks.
His first.
His first kid at Tony Stark is 68 or something.
He can absorb blows from an intergalactic titan somehow. Not that it'd be that much easier at 40, but it would be.
Yeah. Tony, Robert Downey Jr. was like 51 in Iron Man 1. And he's been in 16 movies as that character. The dude needs to retire. Let Tony Stark go home.
That's so true. Still eating cheeseburgers. Yeah. Still. Yeah. Okay. Let's check. All right. Let's check the first call. Roll the first one, Renee.
Hey guys, my name is Jake. I'm a gay bear from Pennsylvania. My question is, how do you become comfortable and love your body? I know when I'm at the gym or at the pool or at the beach, I get self-conscious by all these like hot, fit guys and fit women. I do try and look at myself naked in the mirror to feel more comfortable. Do you guys have any other advice? I love you guys. Hope you're staying safe.
Holy fuck.
Wow, that's so weird. Yeah.
I don't hear these calls before, right? I don't. And I also forgot that you tweeted out that I was going to be, because it was like, wow, that's a very specific question that I think I'm like weirdly able to answer. Sure.
I actually have experience of dealing with happiness with my own body.
Yeah.
And I'm currently at a state of insane confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm in and out of, depending. But Jake, this is a wonderful fucking question. And I just recently was thinking of something the other day that maybe this will help Jake, and Bronger, let me know, and then I'll let you pile on too. But
please take it away.
This is something I was dealing with recently. I've always liked wearing Speedos. I was a beach lifeguard. I was on a swim team. It never bothered me. And I just always felt weird about wearing Speedos. But then just a couple of years ago, like maybe a year and a half ago, before I was even like fit to the, like even less fit than I am now, I just started going to the beach and, wearing my board shorts, but then popping them off when I got there to lay down and hang out in a Speedo and then go swimming in a Speedo. And I was like, then I went to my friend's wedding in Hawaii, and he's Australian. So I brought my Speedo because Aussies wear budgie smugglers. They think board shorts are lame. So I wear my Speedo, hang out with all these ripped Australian rugby guys, swimming around the ocean with them, but I'm this big fat dude in a Speedo. And this little fact that I got in my head, I think might help Jake. If you think you look bad, and this is maybe this is not the most positive headspace to be in, but This is like the kind of cynical look I have. If you think you look bad, truly, even if you do, you only look 1% worse with your shirt on. You know what I mean? Like, no, like if you look fat with your shirt on, you look like people just know. Like, I used to wear shirts in the water, but then you only look 1% worse if you're completely comfortable. So if you make yourself completely comfortable, however that might be, whether that's like, I like to pop my shirt, I like to wear this, I want to wear floral prints, I want to wear a sarong, whatever you want to wear at the beach, whatever, you'll look maybe 1% worse, but you'll feel 20% better, thereby looking 19% better overall.
Yeah.
And that's the most negative aspect way to look at it. But that's what I realized is like, I still look fat if I'm not in a Speedo. Like, it's not like I put on board shorts and everyone's like, wow, that dude's pretty buff, actually, now that I can't see 1 square inch of his quads. But you realize I don't look that much worse in a Speedo, but I feel that much better. And then and now all of a sudden I'm this 300-pound dude carrying himself joyously in a Speedo. And that raises my attractiveness quotient. And like, that's all it is confidence.
Yeah. And I'll extrapolate that too. You know how you feel when you wear like a fitted suit, or you feel when you wear an amazing piece of clothing that someone you find attractive is like, oh, you should wear that. You should rock that. That looks dope. And that's how you should try to make yourself feel with your swimwear, with whatever. Just kind of do the fucking Stuart Smalley. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. I'm a good person. I like who this person is, and I like this body. It's like anytime you saw someone growing up who was not in good shape, but was like, fuck it, and would act like they were ripped, that was the coolest person. I remember when I was 12 years old, we went to my mother's college roommate is this great gal who lives in San Francisco, and she's always been very funny and always just quick to laugh at all kinds of stuff. But she used to be a lot heavier. But we were at her brother's house, and I remember there was like a slip and slide, and I remember being like playing the slip and slide, and I was like, I don't want to, because I didn't feel really that comfortable with my shirt off. I didn't like my body, and here comes Kathy. She went in the house. She saw
Great name.
Like, oh,
great
good.
name for an overweight college roommate too. It's like the comic. That's fucking awesome.
Who's now 75. But
Yeah.
she went in the house. She changed into a one piece and just like fell face down hard on the slip and slide. Did not do the slip and slide well. Got up laughing. Did it again. And I remember just looking at her, just feeling inspired, and just being like, look how happy she's being. Look how much she doesn't care. Look how much she's negating any negative body issues I felt anyone could have. Not that anyone would give a shit at that like 7-person barbecue, but that was also the point. It wasn't a rager. She was like, ooh, that looks fun. I'm going to do it. And I was just like, wow, she has more guts than me right now.
Yeah. And that shit's inspirational.
It is inspirational. And I just remember that. I remember moments where I'd see someone very overweight with no shirt on, just standing around the beach, and they couldn't give a fuck. And I remember just being like, wow, look at him. You know, like the first time I saw the Chris Farley Chippendales sketch, I felt bad for him because I was like, oh my God, look at his body. But I was also like, holy shit, the balls. Like he's on national, millions of people are watching him.
Yeah, he's at like sorority pledge level of body break. Like they're breaking down his body in front of him. Like that's heavy duty. And I mean, we now know that was hard for Farley and shit like that, but he still knew that it was going to be funny. And that's all that was him for him, the end all be all at the end. Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
And I remember Chris Rock like hated that sketch because he's like, yeah, ha, it's a fat guy. He's like, I don't like that. That's my friend. And I'm not defending that sketch. I mean, I still think it's funny because I think Patrick Swayze's almost as funny as he is.
Yes, Swayze's energy is very funny in that.
So he's got great. He keeps looking at him like, oh, he's such a better dancer than me. Yeah. I'm blowing it. Like he has the look on his face of like, I'm blowing the greatest opportunity of my life. He's like that guy who will never be as fast as Usain Bolt, who's like a 0.006 seconds slower than him off the gun or whatever.
And if that dude was born 3 years later or 3 years earlier, he would have like at least a couple of medals under his belt, but instead he exists
he has none.
At the exact same time as this. And he has been the best around his entire life, except for now one other person. But because this other person exists, we never hear it. Like that's like that shit is so crazy. Like this dude is insanely fast to the level of like X-Men level fast, and just because Usain Bolt exists at the same time as him, we know Usain Bolt's name and not that guy's name.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And it's just the fucking way of the world, the way the fucking shit crumbles.
Sad. This is how it is.
Wait, just to jump on something else for Jake real quick. You know what you know what there is nothing of at the beach, Jake? You know what I've never seen at the beach. I have someone who's been there. Like I go weekly still. There's never a fucking mirror at the beach, bud. Yep. You never have to see yourself. Just be happy. You look around yourself. What do you see? Beautiful men and women, like you were saying. That sounds tight to me. Beautiful ocean, beautiful sand, beautiful sky. Yep. You don't have to fucking even look at yourself. Just make yourself feel comfortable. And also, you even said yourself you're a bear, so you know that your body type and your look is highly sought after by a lot of men. And I'm finding women coming out of the woodwork now that it feels socially acceptable to say I like a dad type that I feel, people are coming out of the woodwork saying they like big boys. So Jake, just fucking relish in it, man.
Rock it. Just rock it. Just rock it. Go out there and just, the whole, maybe flip around the whole, oh, if you're public speaking, imagine everyone naked. Just imagine everyone loves your body.
Yeah.
And, and don't care. Just feel even when I had my heaviest body issues, I realized how good it felt to not have a shirt on. It feels so good. It feels so good to not have a shirt on in the sun and have your legs out.
Whatever makes you feel good at the beach. Why are you going to the beach? Are you going to the beach because you like to have a few beers, you like to smoke a joint, you like to play Frisbee, you like to go swimming? Whatever it is, that's what you're there to do. You're not there to show people what you look like. No. what you look like is second to what you're there to do. And if I don't care what you look like, if I see some dude having fun playing fucking Kadima, playing fucking cornhole, bodyboarding, that dude he looks good in my book. I don't care if you're fat, skinny, whatever. If you're having a good time and you seem like you're enjoying yourself, that's the sexiest thing you can fucking do.
So hot. So hope that helps, man. And thanks for calling in. Okay, roll the second call, Renee.
Hey, Matt. My name's Josh, and my birthday's coming up, and I don't like my birthday. I don't like celebrating with my family. I've come up with a bunch of bullshit excuses over the years. This one time, I accidentally got too fucked up on an edible, and then they came to see me in college and drove 4 hours away on my birthday, and I tripping balls and had to tell them I was sick. So that was an accident. But other times, I've just punted it off. Oh, well, I'm moving. You know, we'll entertain you soon. Regardless, not a big fan of celebrating my birthday with other people. I feel weird when they give me gifts. Honestly, I just like to eat pizza, play video games, and get a blowjob, and I think that's like an ideal birthday for me. And so a lot of people try and put pressure on me. As an example, yes, last year, my dad said, or maybe it was 2 years ago, must have been 2 years ago, my dad said, hey, this isn't about you. Let us take you out to dinner. But because of a number of different dietary issues and things like that, basically no one in my immediate family is ever happy every time that we have to go out somewhere. Plus there's coronavirus, so we probably just do a cookout at someone's house. And I'm a vegetarian, so cookout's like, oh, let's get him a veggie burger. Anyway, how do I get people to just leave me the fuck alone on my birthday? Love you so much. Kisses.
Wow.
There's
Okay.
a lot there.
What was caller number 2's name?
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, that's wild, man. I think pizza and video games easy to line up for your birthday. Blowjob kind of hard to bank on.
Don't go Icarus and fly too close to the sun and try it all at once.
Just aim for just video games and pizza to start, man. Sure. I've been with the same woman. I've been in a monogamous, committed relationship for 17 years, and I don't always get a BJ on my birthday.
Nope.
It's not even a thing in our house. Plus, if it's a birthday gift for me, I'm eating pussy. Let's be honest. Right. That's what I'm here for.
Come on, guys.
Wait, Josh said something. He said so much stuff in there. It sounded like he was trying to head off all of our potential answers at the pass too.
Yeah, I think so.
I got a little. It feels like he was trying to steer us, and I apologize if I'm going outside the this might help realm here.
No,
feels like he was trying to steer us into going. You're right, man. Just be alone.
Yeah,
but. Unfortunately, your birthday isn't just for you in a weird way. It is like your parents want to see you because your birthday was if you think your 21st, 22nd birthday is crazy for you, imagine how your 0th birthday was for your parents, dude.
True.
That was, you just went through it. I think you're going to remember your daughter's birthday and be important to you guys because it changed your entire family's dynamic. Like it's not about another candle on the cake. It's about this huge progress that everyone made as a big family unit, and they want to celebrate that. They want to be around, and it doesn't have to be your birthday. If you hate your birthday, wait 1 week after and get the whole family together for a Friday cookout that isn't all about you. It's like, I get it. Everyone wants to see each other. Some people are a little shy and don't want all the like, hey, Bronger, hey, got you a gift. Here's a gag shirt. React to me. Talk to me. Go around, shake hands. I get that. People are shy. But, dude, the birthday party's not all about you. They all want to see each other. People love that shit. Like,
totally.
It's old school.
Yeah.
And like, I want to say let them have what they want, but I feel like you're really not having the birthday party thing. So my last piece of advice would be, Josh, weaponize your birthday party. What do you want to do? Say, hey, everyone, for this year for my birthday, I don't really eat meat. I would like to go to this vegetarian restaurant. Perfect. Force your lifestyle on them, or it's your birthday. You're allowed to, or say, hey, I don't want to do anything, but can we all just rent, let's all go to the arcade together. I like playing video games. Let's go get pizza in an arcade and we'll all get our dicks sucked as a family.
I would not suggest your family, you go to Hungry Maud's House of Blowjobs in Nevada. Don't.
Sorry,
do
this is just for recording purposes. You said hungry mods.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
Let me
near
just
it's near the cat ranch.
I just need this information for something else.
Oh, what a sad place.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I love your advice, because I was kind of veering towards, okay, it's your birthday. You don't necessarily have to do anything, but you're a young man. And I think, I'm leaning more towards John's advice, because as you get older, no one's going to give a fuck about your birthday. Not even your parents. I mean, they will. They'll send you a card, maybe. They'll call you. Hey, now that you're gone, you're 52.
Right.
But as you get older, it's just kind of like, yeah. And also, I had friends make fun of me. It's like, they'd be like, Bronger has like a birthday week, because I plant this big fucking thing, maybe.
Dude, another thing to your uncles of uncles over here.
Yeah.
Of Uncle Uncles? That's what we should start calling ours. That's our two-man improv group of Uncle Uncles.
Uncle Uncles. Yeah. But I did that to celebrate my friends. I was never like, oh man, hooray for me. Like, the weirdest part of me all of it every time was always like, oh, here's my cake. Yay. I don't want, I'd rather just drink with my friends.
I don't want gifts. I'm an attention whore. I'll get my attention for my living. I will let my friend, I just want to have, for one of my birthdays, I put 50 of my friends in a coach bus and drove them, almost all of them, to their first rugby match ever at Carson Stadium. And I fucking, we pre-gamed on the bus. We watched Rocky IV. I made everyone wear like patriotic shit. I handed out American flag sunglasses because we're going to see USA versus Argentina. Nice. So I just went fucking, and like, that was my 36th birthday. That's not like what you're supposed to do as an adult man. But to me, it was about getting 50 people together for an event that I wish. Because how often do you get like, you're like, oh, so-and-so's having a birthday. And you're like, all right, I guess we're driving to North Hollywood to some random tiki thing for so-and-so's birthday. And then you go and you go, I'm so glad I went to this place and saw those 4 friends and did that thing. Yeah. You could be that for somebody else. If you're looking for positives about having a birthday party.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just find a thing you want to do, and invite the people. And someone might be like, I mean, I don't want to go to, the veggie bar or whatever,
right. Yeah. And then peace out.
and get more specific. Fucking go to, if you're in Portland, I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 barcades with all vegan menus.
Yes.
At least 2.
Yeah.
There have to be more out there, and just do that, where it's just like, I mean, hey, your parents might be like, I don't like the loud video game noise. You're like, it's my birthday.
And I don't like cookouts. So it's my birthday. Yeah. It sounds like, because it feels like a lot of the stuff you're complaining about is things that are being forced upon you. And it might be, unfortunately for you, because you sound a little shy and like you're not about the attention grab. Unfortunately for you, my best advice is to grab the fucking reins of your own birthday and make it as specifically as path of least resistance for you as possible. If it's like, I just want my friends to all come over and I'm going to put on my favorite movie in the living room and we're going to order pizza and we're going to sit in silence and eat it. Like, that sounds fucking, I'm going to come to that party if I'm your friend.
Well, and you nailed it, because my thing was like, this guy's letting his parents drive the bus. You drove the bus. You drove the bus to the Argentinian USA rugby match.
Yes.
You drove the fucking bus. He needs to start driving the bus.
For real.
Like, I'm not, nope, we're passing the cookout. Passing it. I'm not stopping here. We're going to drive to where I want to go. We're going to the vegan barcade. So, okay, shit. We're near the end. We got time for one more.
Let's do it.
Let's roll the last one.
Hey, Matt. I was helping my father-in-law with some tech support stuff on his phone and had to look for an email and saw his recent searches that all appeared to be about finding sex workers, and particularly using the sugar daddy website to try and find a hookup. I don't have any problem with him looking for sex workers. Good for him. He's a single guy, older. Go for it. What I do worry about is that he is not very internet literate and falls for phishing scams and credit card stuff all of the time. So how do I have a conversation with him about making sure that he doesn't get scammed by fake sex workers? Because that'll be fun. Thanks, buddy.
Wow, what a good call.
Wow. I do not envy your situation, my friend.
Nope.
But damn, don't you hate when the answer, like he knows what the answer, he knows what he has to do, and he's just saying like, guys, just how do I do this? Like like the only thing he can do is he has to have a heart-to-heart with his father-in-law.
I feel like he has to either do the fucking heart-to-heart like a football coach. Like, look, I know what you're doing, Stevens. All right, we got to talk about this because you're not doing it right. You know, you got to do that.
Keep your head on a swivel out there, boys.
Exactly.
All right?
As an expert.
Yeah.
As an expert. You know, or you can be a spy, which basically you're like, you know, you're all out to breakfast and you're just like, hey, did you hear about that phishing scam that guy? Yeah. Evidently, this guy, and you can't say was looking for an escort. It can be like, I guess he was looking to look to someone he could pay for something for some sort of, I don't know, a
sugar daddy construction.
I don't know what it was.
Like wink at the dad.
Once they get your credit card number, it's over. You know, like whatever, something like that. But there's no guarantee that that'll be.
Yeah, I think you got to have the heart-to-heart.
Yeah,
because this might be an ongoing thing for the father-in-law, and you might be like, I don't know if your wife, and I don't even know like the layout. So I don't know if your partner, their kid, I don't know if they have any siblings that would have this heart-to-heart with them. So you might be helping. It might be more than just you having to deal with this fucked up thing, and you might be like really helping this dude out and protecting him in the long run, because it should be legal, and it's one of the OG professions.
Look, I got it on my shirt.
Oh shit, dude! Oh, that doesn't work in the pro-black, pro-brown, pro-queer, trans, Muslim, science, facts, choice, ho, wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
I love it. Wow, you have a better message than me. My shirt just says Taekwondo.
Still great.
Still important.
Still important.
Foot, fist, way.
Yes.
What, like, I think the coach approach is the best. Like, honestly, one time my dad found I left a used condom on the bathroom sink before I went away for the lake for the weekend with my girlfriend. We had sex. Jesus. And this was like the mid 90s. So we were told, and my girlfriend at the time was, you know, we were all nervous. All you care about is getting pregnant until you finally get to your mid 30s, try to get pregnant, find out how hard it is. But I had to run water in the condoms post sex to see if there was any tears or rips. That was something she requested. And you left it on the sink.
Oh.
And my father calls me and he goes, Johnny, found your condom on this, and I just immediately fall apart. And all he says is, clean up after yourself. I don't want your mother to see it. If you have any other questions, you can ask me. And that's it. Didn't make me feel gross and make me feel weird, but gave me like, and my dad was not the most dad. Like, I don't have a lot of touching stories of him saying something to me that unlocked some element of my life that was helpful. I have mostly stories of didn't see him, you know, but this one stands out in my head is like, he had the opportunity just to say like, and like, I think that's kind of like, you need to dad your father-in-law. Like,
yeah,
I'm assuming at some point your father-in-law maybe said to you, hey, you're marrying my fucking kid, whether it's a daughter or son, you're marrying my progeny. Yeah. Don't you fuck this up. You got to just give him that. Like, hey, just so you know, a man to man. Give him that man to man. Coach was the right move. Brunger, I'm over explaining it. You said it so succinctly earlier.
No, but that's it. Like, you gotta pull him aside and do the man to man. Like, look, you know, I saw you looked at a lot of it just comes up. You might not know that. I just want you to be careful. Not in the way you might be thinking.
Yeah.
You can get ripped off financially really easily.
Yeah. Fuck away, Pops. Go nuts.
Like, I'm not, and, you know, Lena, I'm not judging you.
Right. And then also the history thing is the entree into the conversation of also delete your history.
Yes.
Like, you get to say, like, here's something you should probably know. If you search, the searches stay there, then you're going to want to delete them. And I did this for you. And when I did that, I saw you were doing these searches. And since we're talking about the internet and then, you know, play it cute, like, you know, you're like, you know how you get like easily fooled by blah, or you know how you almost fucking gave your social security number to Planet Fitness, a faker or whatever, you know, give them that, like, and blah, blah. these people will do that, and they'll use shame to keep that from you. So just make sure you're in a reputable situation. And I don't know how brave this caller number 3 is here, but if you want to say, like, if you want me to, like, take a look at the website and make sure it's above board, I would offer to do that for my in-laws. So I have a very weird relationship with them, but I think I think it's interesting. I think it's like, if you want me to take a look at the site and make sure it's okay, I can confirm that for you. So you don't. I want you to do whatever you want to do. I just don't want you to get ripped off, and you don't want. And he doesn't want to get ripped off either. He wants to fuck without losing all of his money. That's all we want in life.
That's all we want. That's all we want. Well, fuck, this was great, man. I loved having you on the show.
Dude, thanks for having me on, man. This was a blast. I joked when we talked on we were texting about doing this. I was like, I feel like we're two of those dudes that, like, everyone would say, like, oh, that's weird, you guys aren't friends. Like, oh, right. Bronger, Gabrus, the 2 white bearded guys who go by their last name, or sort of like exactly. Blue collar but progressive at the same time. How do you guys not know each other?
It's so true.
You're like, you come across as scumbags, but you are married gentlemen at the same time. I don't, like, there's something. And so for us to finally get together, chop it up, and you're going to do High and Mighty too, which I'm excited about.
I'm psyched.
This has been fucking great, dude.
Is there anything you want to promote that people might not know that they can check out about you? Or
yeah, I got High and Mighty, which is my chat show podcast wherever you get podcasts. And if you have extra money in the pandemic, congratulations to you. Maybe you want to spend some of it on a Patreon podcast called Action Boys, where me and a couple of buddies break down action movies for longer than their run times. It's $5 a month, get you 4 3-ish hour episodes about classic action movies such as The Program, or
yeah, sure.
So do yourself a favor and check that out if that's in your wheelhouse. And for most of you, it's not, which is fair, which is completely fair.
Well, thanks again for coming on the show, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. This has been a blast.
Thanks for listening to and/or watching This Might Help with Matt Bronger. You need some advice? Call 323-763-0228. Again, that's 323-763-0228. No judgment, all fun. Thanks.
This Might Help with Matt Bronger was created and hosted by me, Matt Bronger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.